The observation deck hummed with the low thrum of the starship's engines as Samantha pressed her scaled hand against the viewport. Her reptilian eyes, golden and slitted, reflected the vast darkness of space beyond. She had served in the Galactic Coalition for 3 cycles now, but this was her first assignment aboard a human vessel. First time on the Indomitable. Samantha turned to find a human male leaning against the bulkhead, his weathered face creased with the kind of smile that spoke of countless battles survived. His nameplate read, Chen, J. Jake Chen, the ship's tactical officer and one of the few humans who'd earned the veteran's mark. "Yes," Samantha replied, her translator converting her hissing speech into standard galactic. "I've heard stories about human ships, but I assumed they were exaggerations." Jake's smile widened. "Oh, they probably weren't." He gestured toward the reinforced observation seat bolted to the deck. "It's big. Sit here. You'll want to be secured for what comes next." Samantha's pride bristled. Among her people, the Drakari, she was considered a warrior of considerable merit. She'd led ground assaults on 4 worlds and survived the siege of Proxima. "I've been in combat before, human. I don't need—" "Not like this, you haven't." Jake's tone remained friendly but firm. "Trust me." Something in his eyes made her comply. She settled into the seat, her tail coiling around the base as the restraints locked into place. Jake took position beside her, his own harness clicking shut with practiced ease. "What am I about to see?" Samantha asked. "Humanity's answer to the Krell Armada." Jake tapped a control panel. "Command, this is Chen. Observation deck secured. We're ready for Operation Thunderhead." The ship's AI responded immediately. "Acknowledged. All personnel, battle stations, engaging enemy fleet in 30 seconds. Samantha's hearts began to pound in syncopation. The Krell. The very name sent waves of instinctive fear through every species in the coalition. Their black ships had consumed 17 systems in 2 years. Their technology surpassed anything the galaxy had seen. They didn't negotiate. They didn't retreat. "The Krell have 300 warships in this sector," Samantha said quietly. "We have 47 coalition vessels. The tactical probability of success is—" "Humans don't really care about probability," Jake interrupted, still smiling. The viewport suddenly blazed with light. The Krell fleet emerged from hyperspace like a swarm of obsidian locusts, each ship bristling with weapon arrays that could crack planets. Samantha's combat training kicked in automatically, her mind calculating vectors, threat assessments, escape routes. Every calculation ended the same way: total annihilation. "Why aren't we moving to defensive positions?" she demanded. "Watch," Jake said simply. The human fleet remained in loose formation, seemingly unconcerned by the apocalyptic force bearing down on them. Then Samantha saw it, or rather felt it. A vibration that started in her bones and built to a crescendo that made her teeth ache. "What is that?" "That," Jake said with evident satisfaction, "is humanity remembering what we were good at before we reached the stars." The space between the 2 fleets began to shimmer, not with energy weapons or shields, but with something else entirely. Something that made Samantha's ancient hindbrain scream in primordial terror. Hundreds of objects materialized from subspace, thousands, millions. Asteroids. Not just any asteroids. These had been hollowed out, fitted with primitive rocket engines and guidance systems, then accelerated to a significant fraction of light speed. They filled the void like a biblical plague, each one a kinetic weapon of devastating simplicity. "Humans still use rocks?" Samantha breathed in disbelief. "Oh, we use plenty of fancy weapons too," Jake replied. "Plasma cannons, antimatter missiles, quantum disruptors. Your people helped us develop half of them. But sometimes—" He leaned forward, his eyes reflecting the chaos unfolding before them. "Sometimes you just need to throw a really, really big rock." The first wave hit the Krell formation like the fist of an angry god. Ships that could withstand directed energy weapons for hours crumpled like paper against multi-ton projectiles traveling at relativistic speeds. The collisions released energy equivalent to tactical nuclear weapons. Secondary explosions bloomed like deadly flowers across the enemy line. The Krell tried to adapt, tried to maneuver, but the sheer volume of projectiles made evasion impossible. For every asteroid their point defense systems destroyed, 10 more got through. And behind the kinetic barrage, the human fleet advanced, their conventional weapons picking off survivors with surgical precision. Samantha watched in stunned silence as 300 Krell warships, the terror of a dozen species, were systematically obliterated by what amounted to upgraded caveman tactics. The entire engagement lasted less than 8 minutes. When the last Krell ship broke apart in a cascade of secondary explosions, Jake finally spoke again. You know what the galaxy's first mistake was? Assuming that because humans developed technology late, we'd forgotten how to fight dirty. We spent 200,000 years as persistence hunters on a death world. We chased our prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. We turned everything around us into tools and weapons. He gestured at the debris field that had once been an armada. We reached space by strapping ourselves to controlled explosions. We colonized our solar system by throwing rocks at problems until they went away. The Krell have better ships, better weapons, better armor. But we have 4 billion years of Earth's evolution teaching us one simple lesson. If you can't out-tech it, out-think it. If you can't out-think it, overwhelm it. And if all else fails, throw bigger rocks, Samantha finished, her voice filled with dawning understanding. Jake nodded. Throw bigger rocks. As the Indomitable moved to rejoin the fleet, Samantha looked at her human companion with new eyes. The galaxy had welcomed humanity as the scrappy newcomers, the primitive species who'd barely mastered faster-than-light travel. What they'd failed to recognize was that humanity hadn't survived their harsh world by being the strongest or fastest. They'd survived by being absolutely, terrifyingly relentless. And now that same relentless spirit was aimed at the stars. "Thank you," Samantha said quietly, "for letting me sit here." Jake's smile returned, warm and genuine. "Welcome to the human fleet, Commander. Something tells me you're going to fit right in."